Homan also blasted Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for hosting a webinar last week on how illegal aliens could evade ICE raids, saying this to CNN's Dana Bash.
Vaguely aware of immigration law. I've done this since 1984. I forgot more about the immigration law than AOC will ever know. Matter of fact, the hearing a couple years ago, I had explained to her that entering the country illegally was actually a crime. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to play that game with her. I simply made a statement. When you sit down with people who are wanted by us, criminal aliens that have been ordered to be deported from the United States government, and ignore that order, if you and I ignore that order, we'd be sitting in prison.
Matt, your response to Tom Homan's take on AOC?
I think that I would trust that he probably has forgotten more about immigration law than AOC. I remember that hearing when he did tell her crossing the border illegally is a crime. It's so important to remember how this began. President Biden came into office and set up magnets. We call them magnets for attracting illegal immigrants. He came in promising free health care. He came in saying we're going to freeze deportations. And at the same time, there's no wall. There's no effort to do any kind of interior enforcement. And that set up the greatest migration crisis that we've ever seen. So President Trump has nipped that in the bud, but we're also seeing those crossing numbers go down because people are trying it less, which is a fantastic victory for what this administration is trying to do. And I think Tom Homan has done a phenomenal job. I think ICE has done a phenomenal job giving the American people a window into these deportation raids so they can understand just how dangerous some of these people are. And that's why these policies, things like deporting anyone with any kind of criminal record, has about 87% support, because they see how vicious some of these people are who have gotten into our border. And when you see people like AOC trying to help illegal immigrants navigate around the law, it really does feel like, you know, almost like a traitorous action against our country.
That's right. And Connecticut Democratic Senator Chris Murphy posted a profanity-laced response on X at what he thought to be Laura Trump, calling for Tom Homan to arrest AOC for giving illegal aliens advice for avoiding deportation. The only problem was that the post was not Laura Trump, but rather a fan account not affiliated with the Trump family or White House in any way. The official White House rapid response account mocking Murphy as a moron and looking imbecilic, that's a big word there, for his blunder. Terry, I mean, you would think that the senator's office would kind of triple check to see whose account that really is.
No, that's exactly right, Merce. And listen, just add this to the Mount Everest of evidence that Chris Murphy has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
Right.
This guy doesn't get anything right. I've seen him go on these diatribes about gun violence in this country and puts all the blame on everyone except the criminals that have these guns. He's wrong on everything. And he's just posturing because he visions himself as the next president of the United States. What we have entered into now is there is an open race right now for president in 2028, and all these Democrats are going to be competing. And unfortunately for Chris Murphy, he's going to keep stumbling like this, and it's not going to look good for him.
A San Diego migrant shelter is closing its doors and laying off 115 employees because of funding and policy changes under the Trump administration. The organization Jewish Family Service of San Diego said they have not received new asylum-seeking families or individuals since the CBP One app was taken down on January 20th. I mean, Jason, we have seen so many of these individuals illegally that they've utilized the CBP One app. I mean, taken advantage, circumvented the immigration laws. I mean, it's been very problematic to see. So now that Trump's taken that down in his team, I mean, do you think we're going to be able to get a handle, or we're starting to already see that we're getting a handle on the immigration situation?
Yeah, I mean, as I've said, I think we've started to get a handle on this situation for the past year or more, as we've seen things actually go down astronomically. The other thing I would say, that's another big word, astronomical.
That is. Imbecilic is harder to say. Yeah.
But the other thing that I would remind Tom Homan of is, according to international law, and even law in the United States, seeking asylum is not a crime. You can seek asylum, and that's what a lot, not all, but some of the people that he's referring to have done. They're trying to get asylum in the United States. Doesn't mean that they're necessarily eligible for it, but that's not a crime. So I think that's a lot of what AOC was referring to that he's got wrong right there.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.